We rely on broadband to basically get on with our lives. And when there is any hiccup, any service quality issues, it impacts a lot of things. So the user experience is the number one subject for service providers to pay attention to. And any service provider that gives a better user experience can basically attract more customers, lose less customers.
Hey, this is Martha DeGrasse here again for Wi-Fi Alliance, and this is The Signal, our podcast where we give you the inside track on Wi-Fi. And we are delighted to welcome Metin Taskin back to the podcast. He is founder and CEO of airties. Metin, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you, Martha. I'm happy to be here.
You've been here several times, but for anyone who might need a bit of a reminder, please give us an overview of airties.
Yes, definitely. airties is a global leader in an AI-driven software solution for service providers. Our software is measuring and optimizing broadband user experience in residential users. We work with many service providers around the world. In US, we have AT&T and T-Mobile. In Europe, Vodafone Group, Deutsche Telekom Group, Telia, Büyük Telecom. Even in Australia, Telstra. So we are working with internet service providers to improve their core business, which is providing broadband service to the residential subscribers.
That core business has been going through some changes recently. I think the traditional ISPs have been relying on internet broadband to make up for pay TV losses as those go to streaming. But now even their broadband business is suffering. We see some of the giants in the cable world losing broadband subscribers. So how does good Wi-Fi and your software in particular help them reverse that trend or at least mitigate churn?
Yes, definitely. The internet service providers, all of them move to broadband services, as you said. That's the new business for them, and make sure that they can compensate for the losses from the TV services. The number one issue with broadband services is the user experience and the satisfaction of the subscribers. As we know, service providers are not known as the best NPS score in the industry.
That's an understatement.
A lot of customers are suffering from instability and the service quality of their broadband services. The main reason for that is broadband services used for everything, from education, entertainment, work. So we rely on broadband to basically get on with our lives. And when there is any hiccup, any service quality issues, it impacts a lot of things. So the user experience is the number one subject for service providers to pay attention to. And any service provider that gives a better user experience can basically attract more customers, lose less customers. So the issue with their business is churn, which means losing their customers. We work with a lot of them, and we know that any service provider is losing 15 to 20% of their subscriber base every year. And they work hard to replace them with new customers. So that's a lot of cost, a lot of effort. And just to keep up their subscriber numbers flat, they need to win 15 to 20% of their customers again.
Still.
Yeah, that's really, really big cost and big effort. So we believe, and there's a lot of data in the market that says that the churn is very highly related to the user experience. If customer is happy with their service and they rely on that service for everything they do, it's going to take a lot of effort for your competitor to steal that customer from you. So stability and predictability or reliability of the service basically is the number one priority for service providers to pay attention to. This is where we come in. Our system, our software actually measures user experience constantly, all the time. And when we see that there is something wrong, be it Wi-Fi is one of the most important parts of it, but there's also broadband connectivity, the stability of the devices in the home. There's a lot of factors that impacts the user experience. So our system keeps measuring, diagnosing, and optimizing automatically for the things we can optimize by changing software parameters or by applying optimizations in the software. But there is also things that software cannot do. The software provider or service provider has to pay attention or call the customer, add extenders or change something in the home or replace a broken device.
A truck roll, basically.
A truck roll or a call,
okay,
or informing the customer to do something. So our system is providing actionable recommendations to the service provider to go and fix whatever the issue that the customer may be having. If you don't,
even before the customer sees it, sometimes?
Even before the customer sees it, even before customer calls their service provider. If you don't, you're risking losing that customer. That's one of the biggest reasons for customers churning, because they keep getting offers from competitors all the time.
Some of those offers from competitors are coming from the 5G fixed wireless access providers. T-Mobile, I think, led the way. Verizon's close behind. I think between the two of them, they have about 10 million subscribers now, and they're taking a lot of those away from the cable companies. And I think you work with T-Mobile supporting their 5G fixed wireless access, and it goes back to your partnership with Qualcomm for 5G FWA. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, definitely. Fixed wireless access is one of the newest applications of 5G. As we speak, I mean, when 5G was coming around, there was many hype around what it will do. Fixed wireless access, interestingly, become one of the biggest applications. What it enables is service providers like T-Mobile going and offering that service to areas where they don't have any infrastructure except the mobile network. So that's become an opportunity for mobile and broadband operators like T-Mobile, Verizon, AT&T, but it become a threat for cable operators, especially when they don't have access to the 5G network so much. So what we do there is we work with T-Mobile especially to analyze the user experience again in the home, where it depends. One part depends on Wi-Fi, of course, that's the home network part, but there is also the wide array network access which comes through 5G. So we signed a partnership agreement with Qualcomm to be able to analyze the quality of the 5G connection, optimize certain parameters to be able to provide the good user experience consistently throughout the time, and collect data, analyze data, and basically provide similar intelligence that we are providing over Wi-Fi to the operator, basically, to be able to optimize and make sure that the user experience is in good condition all the time. As I said before, user experience is number one reason for churn or attracting new customers. So the 5G broadband or fixed wireless access service has to be on par with the wired service like cable, DSL, or fiber in order to be able to attract customers and keep the customers on the service. So our role is, again, similar, being able to understand the user experience, optimize the user experience. If we can't optimize by the means of software, letting the service provider know about what they should be doing for the customers who are experiencing any issues with their network.
So are there any differences to the way your software is deployed in a gateway that's mediating 5G and Wi-Fi versus fiber and Wi-Fi in the home?
Not much of a difference in terms of architecture, because in both cases we put a little software on the router of the home, which analyzes the data and does its optimizations. The only difference is in the 5G case, we are also managing the wireless modem of the 5G connection, where the issues or optimizations that can be done is similar to Wi-Fi. Interference, channel selection, base station selection, there's many things that are similar to Wi-Fi technology. So this is where we come in. Our experience in Wi-Fi helps us also on the 5G side.
Okay, all right, great. All right, let's switch gears for a minute. One of the major technology efforts of the Wi-Fi Alliance has been Easy Mesh, and airties has been particularly keen on helping ISPs adopt Easy Mesh in their deployments. Can you talk about that and let us know how operators are embracing it now?
I'm very happy to say that every operator is embracing Easy Mesh now. In the past, we had solutions out there, our solution, including our solution, which relied on proprietary interfaces, proprietary data sources, and management capabilities of Wi-Fi especially. And there was no standards, that's why it was done that way. Since Easy Mesh came around, we are the first, let's say, Wi-Fi management company who jumped on the Easy Mesh way, and we actually changed our software to be able to utilize Easy Mesh to collect data from Wi-Fi, optimize Wi-Fi functionality. And interestingly, even though Easy Mesh has mesh in it, and everybody thought it's only needed for mesh networking, but we are not using it only for mesh networking. We are using the Easy Mesh interface to be able to manage the Wi-Fi of the single router unit. So in 80 to 90% of the subscribers that we are managing for our service providers do not have mesh at home. They only have one router. And we are using Easy Mesh standard to be able to optimize that Wi-Fi of the router, also collect data parameters from the Wi-Fi interface using the Easy Mesh interface. Knowing this, airties helped a lot in industry to understand what Easy Mesh is for and why we should go that way in terms of managing Wi-Fi. So we started a work group in Wireless Broadband Alliance, which is an industry group that is used in kind of a sister organization to Wi-Fi, that is working with, especially with service providers, to analyze all the standards and put together reference architecture for basically utilizing the standards to the best way. So we have started a working group called Operator Managed Wi-Fi Reference Architecture Group, and we created, together with the members of the group, we created an architecture that utilizes the standards that are available to make an end-to-end system design for a service provider to deploy Wi-Fi and manage Wi-Fi, especially in-home Wi-Fi. And the main architecture mainly depends on Easy Mesh to be able to use the Wi-Fi interface, to be able to collect data and optimize the interface. So those two standards actually showing what is the best way for a service provider to deploy Wi-Fi management solutions. And I'm happy to say almost every service provider is going that way at the moment. And we deployed in many countries and many service providers our Wi-Fi management solution based on Easy Mesh. I can say airties has about 40 million managed homes. Some of them are still legacy, but all our new deployments are based on Easy Mesh.
Okay.
I can say 50% of that is currently running Easy Mesh in about 20 million homes at the moment.
Oh, so almost, okay.
It's
That's
very
a lot.
widely deployed.
Yeah, all right, and growing, I'm sure.
It's growing, yeah.
All right. Well, speaking of standards, one long-standing industry pain point has been the inability to ensure consistent data accuracy and performance measurement criteria across diverse combinations of chipsets, embedded software, hardware, like gateways, routers, extenders. So I understand you're trying to address that as well. Can you update us?
Yes, we have just announced recently that we have developed an automated test system called airties Orbit.
Mm-hmm.
We have seen a need in the industry. As you said, testing Wi-Fi is not easy because Wi-Fi is open to air. It gets, it's a wireless technology. There is a lot of Wi-Fi devices in everywhere. In order to test consistently and understand, every service provider is developing new software. They're deploying new hardware. So there's a lot of development going on all the time. In order to understand if your development is done right and you didn't break something, you need to be able to test independent of the environment. You need to be able to test in a place where you're not affected by variable interferences or variable sources around. So our Orbit system is a fully automated end-to-end data verification and Wi-Fi functional testing system. And we have been deploying Orbit system with our partners, with our customers, whoever is developing software and updating their install base with new functionality. They are actually using our Orbit system to be able to test consistently and fix any issues they may find.
Excellent. All right. What are you hearing from your service provider customers about Wi-Fi 7? We're hearing that some service providers are seeing their customers asking for this. They know what it is and they want it.
Yeah.
What are you seeing with your customers?
With our customers, every customer we have is moving to Wi-Fi 7. I can tell you that. So our customers are service providers. And there is a big effort. Everyone is developing a new gateway, new software on it, and we are working with them to put the Wi-Fi management on top of it. And the consumers will demand it. It's very reasonable for consumers to want the latest technology, and Wi-Fi 7 is seen as the latest technology in this domain. And besides that, it's not just a name or a newest technology aspect. Wi-Fi 7 actually improves a lot in terms of efficiency of the spectrum. MLO is a great feature to optimize the Wi-Fi connectivity, reliability, and the capacity of the Wi-Fi connection. The spectrum management is much better. So it's actually better for the customer needs. And as we were just talking
efficient,
about,
right?
It's
So they
more
can do
efficient.
more.
As we were discussing, people use Wi-Fi more and more. Every year, the load is increasing on Wi-Fi. More and more devices appearing in the homes connecting to Wi-Fi. Applications requiring more bandwidth, more latency-sensitive applications coming around. So Wi-Fi need is increasing, and the technology has to keep up with that, and Wi-Fi 7 is the answer, at least today. So in the future, there will be 8, 9, we will have newer ones, But today, Wi-Fi 7 is the latest and greatest, and every operator we work with is moving towards Wi-Fi 7 at the moment. Some of them already did, some of them will do this year. So it will be Wi-Fi 7 for all new deployments.
Excellent. All right, Metin Taskin, founder and CEO of airties. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you, Marta.
And that is our show. You can get the signal straight to your device through Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, or of course at the Wi-Fi Alliance. That's y-fi.org. I'm Martha DeGrasse here for the Wi-Fi Alliance. Thank you so much for listening. Please join us next time on The Signal.